Hello, scholars. Welcome to Science with Miss Oliver. We have so much to talk about, but before we do, we want to make sure we have some things in place. The first thing you're going to need is your worksheet in front of you. We're going to be writing super important things on this, so you want to make sure you have it right there. The next thing is you're going to need is 2 pencils, and the last but the most important thing is you want to make sure you're in a clear and quiet space so you can focus and grow your brain and listen to all the amazing things I'm about to teach you. So get ready. So scholars, we're moving on to the next planet. We've talked about Mercury, we've talked about Venus, Earth, Jupiter, and Saturn. Now we're moving on to the next planet. Who thinks they know? What's the next planet? What's our next stop? That's right. We're moving on to Uranus. Everyone say next stop. Uranus! Silent celebration. Bring it back. Scholars, we're moving on to the planet Uranus. So, looking at this picture, what are some things we notice? What are some things we observe about the planet Uranus? I'm going to give you about 15 seconds to think silently. What are some things you notice? And then we can share out. So what are some things you notice about the planet Uranus? You can go first and then I'll share after you. Okay, that's a good one. What's one more thing you notice about the planet Uranus? Those are all the things that I was going to say. That's right. Uranus is a bluish greenish color. It has rings around it and it's also kind of crooked. So let's learn a little bit more about the planet Uranus. So the first thing, Uranus is the 7th closest planet from the sun. What number is Uranus? Number 7. That's right. Uranus is the 7th closest planet from the sun. That means if we start at the sun and we count to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, we'll land on Uranus. So scholars, we know that when we see a red heart and our paper on that slide, we know that's something super important and we need to get our pencils and our papers ready to write. So right here, I want you to pause the video and write Uranus is the 7th closest planet to the sun. When you're ready, press play. Awesome job, scholars. Now since you had a chance to write Uranus is the 7th closest planet to the sun on your paper, we're going to move on to the next slide. So on this slide, Mrs. Oliver is going to model how we would find the planet Uranus. The first thing I would do is, I'll look for the sun. Then I'll think back. And I'll remember that Miss Oliver said that Uranus is number 7. So from the sun, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I know that's Uranus because it's number what? That's right. Uranus is number 7. It's the 7th closest planet to the sun. Awesome job, scholars. Astronaut stop. So, now we have an astronaut stop. That means we have a super cool question. Which planet is Uranus and how did we know that? Which planet is Uranus and how did we know that? Think about it first before you answer. Think. Which planet is Uranus and how did you know that? Okay, and how did you know that? Okay, guess what? That's correct. This planet is Uranus, and you knew that because you said you counted 7 from the sun. That means you started all the way up here, and you counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We know that's Uranus. Awesome job, scholars. Kiss your brain. So guess what else? Uranus is the only planet that spins on its side. Scientists think this happened because something crashed into Uranus, making it shift and spin on its side. So Uranus is the only planet that spins on its side. Let's spin on our side. Uranus is the only planet in our solar system that spins on its side. We know this is super important because we have our worksheet right here and we have a heart. So let's pause our video right here and write Uranus is the only planet that spins on its side. Pause. Awesome job, scholars. Let's bring it back in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Moving on to the next slide. So Uranus is the coldest planet in our solar system. It's super cold on Uranus. Let me hear you say brr. Super cold. Uranus is so far away from the sun, and it never gets warm there, making it the coldest planet in the solar system, even colder than the planet Neptune. And guess what else? Uranus's nickname is the ice giant because it's just a big old ball of what? Ice. So let's say, hello, ice giant. So Uranus has 27 moons, 27 known moons. That means that it could be a million other moons, but we only know about 27 of them. And guess what else? Those moons are named after the famous characters from William Shakespeare. I have a question. We know that Uranus has 27 moons. How many moons does Earth have? Think about it. How many moons does Earth have? Now shout it out. How many moons? That's right. Earth has 1 moon. And how many moons does Uranus have? 27. Awesome job. I can't trick you guys. You guys are super smart. Astronauts, stop. So, Uranus is the only planet to do what? Uranus is the only planet to do what? Think about it first. It's the only planet to do what? That's right. Uranus is the only planet that spins on its side. Awesome job. Uranus is the only planet that spins on its side. I can tell that you guys have been listening and growing your brain. I am so super proud of you guys. So Uranus is the first planet discovered after the invention of the telescope. That means when the telescope was discovered thousands of years ago, Uranus was the first planet they discovered on it. That's super cool. So Uranus has 13 known moons, and Epsilon is the brightest. Uranus has 13 known rings, and Epsilon is the brightest ring. So Uranus has 13 known rings. That means it could be a million other rings, but we only know about 13, and we know that that brightest one is called Epsilon. So this is super important, so get your pens and your pencils ready. Get ready to pause so you can write this important fact on your paper. Bring it back in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So Uranus is made up of different gases that gives it that bluish greenish color that we see. So that means it's a ton of different gases that comes together and give us that bluish greenish color that we see. Astronaut, stop. So, how many rings does Uranus have, and what's that brightest ring called? How many rings does Uranus have? And the brightest ring is named what? Think about it first. That's right. Uranus has 13 rings, and that brightest one is Epsilon. Awesome job. You guys are excellent. Kiss your brains. Mwah. Give yourself a pat on the back and get ready for the next slide. We know we always end our videos with our songs on our planet. So get ready, get your dancing feet ready, and we are going to get started on our video.
I am Uranus and I have 13 rings now. Come sing along and learn about me. Oh, I am Uranus, the seventh planet from the sun. About 17 hours is just one day on me. I have 27 moons named after Shakespeare characters, and I have 13 rings that you can clearly see. About 84 Earth years makes just one Uranian year, and my seasons last about 20 years each. Negative 350 is my average degree, and William Herschel did discover me. I am Uranus and I have 13 rings now. Come sing along and learn about me. 2.9 billion miles is my distance from our sun, and I am an icy giant, it's so cold on me. My atmosphere is mostly made up of the following three: hydrogen, methane, and helium each. The tilt of my axis is at 98 degrees. It's one of the steepest tilts in our galaxy. Most of my mass is made up of the following three: water, methane, and ammonia, and H3. I am Uranus and I have 13 rings now. Come sing along and learn about me. I'd like to thank you for learning about the planets on this page. Do subscribe to us, please, no matter what your age.
Bye, Uranus. Scholars, we've learned so much about the planet Uranus, and I can't wait to see everything you wrote, and I can't wait till the next time when we talk about our next planet. See you next time.